The Battle of Vromopigada was fought between the Ottoman Turks and the Maniats of Mani in 1770. The location of the battle was in a plain between the two towns of Skoutari and Parasiros. The battle ended in a Greek victory. Prelude. Following the Venetian defeat to the Ottoman Empire in the Ottoman-Venetian War, the Peloponnese once again returned to Ottoman hands. However, the autonomous Mani, who had refused to accept Ottoman sovereignty in the first Ottoman occupation of the Peloponnese, once again refused to accept Ottoman rule. The Maniats, through an agent they had in Russia, began conspiring with Catherine the Great and Count Alexei Grigorievich Orlov. In 1770, terms were agreed and a Russian fleet sailed into the Aegean Sea and, landing in Mani en route, destroying an Ottoman fleet at the Battle of Chesma. After initial success, the Orlov revolt ended in failure. Arguments between Orlov, the Russian leader, and John the Canine, the Maniat leader, led to the separation of the armies. John's army suffered a devastating defeat at Rizomilo in Messenia against the Ottoman army, with only John surviving. Meanwhile, the Russian army, having made no long-term gains, retreated. The Ottomans had, meanwhile, unleashed a horde of Turco-Albanians on Greece. They pillaged their way through Attica before attacking the Peloponnese, where they massacred Greek civilians. They launched several incursions into Mani, but they were all beaten back with heavy casualties. This string of defeat aggravated the Ottoman Pasha in the Peloponnese, Hatzi Osman, and he mustered an army of 16,000 men and invaded Mani. He was held back for 12 days at Castania, but after capturing the towers he advanced down the coast to Skoutari, where he was once again delayed by a tower. This tower was garrisoned by 15 men who held back the Ottoman army for 3 days until the tower is undermined and blown up. Battle. Meanwhile, a Maniat force consisting of 3,000 men and 2,000 women under the command of ex-Archos Grigorakis and his nephew Zanet Grigorakis had mustered in the hills above the town of Parasiros, which were known as Tripoli, and had fortified themselves. Hatzi, meanwhile, had advanced with his army to Agiopigada and from there sent envoys demanding the surrender of the Maniats. However, the Maniats were hesitant in sending envoys back, because if the answer was negative, Hatzi would have the envoys executed. 3 old men, 2 priests and a layman volunteered and went to the Turkish camp. When they reached the camp, they went to the Pasha and without bow they asked him what they wanted from the poor and free Maniats. The Pasha demanded that the Maniats give 10 captains of children as hostages, all your guns, and every year a poll tax for your head because you attacked against the Sultan with the Russians, our enemies. The Maniat envoys replied, "We prefer to die than give you our guns and freedom. We don't pay taxes because our land is poor." Hatzi, infuriated by their answer, had them decapitated and mutilated before planting their heads on stakes. When the Maniats saw the fate of their envoys, they decided how to defeat the Ottomans. During the night, a force of 1,500 Maniats outflanked the Ottoman positions and approached from the Turkish rear. Meanwhile, the main Maniat force attacked the Ottomans as they slept. The Ottomans, surprised by this night attack, started to flee but were cut off by the Maniats at their rear. The remaining Turks managed to retreat to Mastras.